Breaking right now, an astonishing Prince Harry drug dealer claim made in the final day of evidence in the delusional Duke's disastrous case with the Daily Mail newspaper. And I have said all along, if you lie down with dogs, Harry, you get up with fleas. And that's exactly what has happened to the stupid man, the absolutely stupid man, who has allowed all of this to play out in court and allowed the private investigator, Gavin Burrows, to reveal that the only time he had ever done work for the Daily Mail in connection with Prince Harry was trying to, quote, locate his drug dealer at the nightclub China White. Now, this case has been a disaster from start to finish, but as I have always warned, Harry was relying on literal criminals, actual phone hackers. And surprise, surprise, these people are the scum of the earth. And the problem is...
Welcome to the latest episode of Harry vs. The Press, a long-running soap opera that has officially jumped the shark, the palace walls, and quite possibly the rails of sanity. We aren't just looking at a disgruntled royal anymore. We are looking at a courtroom drama so chaotic it makes a three-way motorway pile-up look like a choreographed ballet. The Duke of Sussex has traded his polo mallet for a legal subpoena, and let's just say his aim is questionable. It is messy, it is loud, and quite frankly, it is the most expensive therapy session in human history. Quick favor, if you are enjoying this royal breakdown, hit that subscribe button. Over 92% of viewers haven't yet. It is free, takes a second, and means the world to us. Thank you if you did. Now, back to the show.
That Gavin Burrows was the man that so much of this case relied on. And he says that his key testimony was forged. And actually, if we just look again at the signature that he said was forged of his compared to his real signature, you can see it's markedly different. And so Harry might think, oh, well, I got my day in court to say how terrible it is and how my life was ruined. But you know what else has been ruined after this, Prince Harry? Your credibility. Watch.
I've never believed that my life is open season to be commercialized by these people. To act in the public interest is to interest the public. I fundamentally reject that. Having my life, like others, commercialized in this way since I was a teenager, delving into every aspect of my private life, listening to calls, blagging flights so they could see where I was going. It was a time when everyone was in competition with each other.
Industrial scale phone hacking and privacy invasion. The problem? Most of the evidence feels like it was plucked from a 2005 tabloid fever dream. It is a bit like trying to convict someone of stealing your car because you saw them looking at a map of your street 15 years ago. The Daily Mail's legal eagles are tearing into the timeline, pointing out that many of these claims are so old they belong in a museum next to the Rosetta Stone. In the United Kingdom, we have these pesky things called statutes of limitations. You cannot suddenly decide you are offended by a headline from the era of flip phones and MySpace just because you have a book deal to promote. The energy in the room is shifting from justice for Harry to, does anyone actually have a calendar? If you thought the opening statements were wild, the cross-examination was where the wheels didn't just fall off, they melted. Watching a royal undergo intense questioning is like watching a cat try to explain why it knocked a vase off the table. Lots of staring, some light hissing, and a total refusal to take responsibility. Harry's responses have been described by some observers as vague at best and hallucinatory at worst. When asked for specific proof of hacking, the Duke's go-to move has been to cite his feeling that it happened. Unfortunately for him, the High Court of Justice generally prefers things like documents and witnesses over vibes and intuition. It is a classic case of bringing a knife to a gunfight, except the knife is made of papier-mâché and the gun is a battery of the UK's most expensive lawyers who eat feelings for breakfast with a side of Earl Grey. As the case moves toward its conclusion, the Daily Mail isn't just defending, they are going for the jugular. They are portraying Harry as a man obsessed, a professional victim who is using the legal system to wage a private war against an industry he simply dislikes. The chaos in the courtroom reached a fever pitch when the discussion turned to the Duke's own admissions in his autobiography. It turns out, it is incredibly difficult to claim the press stole your private life when you sold the film rights to that same life for several £1,000,000. It's the ultimate logical paradox. How dare you tell people I did drugs? Also, please buy my book where I tell you exactly which drugs I did. The legal team for the newspapers is essentially sitting back, crossing their arms, and letting Harry's own words do the heavy lifting. It's not just a disastrous case, it's a masterclass in how to dismantle your own reputation while paying a solicitor £500 an hour to watch you do it. So, where does this leave us as the curtain begins to fall on this legal circus? Regardless of the judge's final ruling, the damage is done. The Bombshells didn't destroy the Daily Mail, they mostly just cratered the Sussexes' remaining credibility with the British public. We've moved past the point of Harry the Brave, and settled firmly into the territory of Harry the Confused. The courtroom, once a place where he hoped to find vindication, has become a hall of mirrors reflecting every contradiction of his post-royal life. The case is closing in a whirlwind of legal jargon, missed deadlines, and a prince who looks increasingly like he's wondering how he ended up here. It's a high-stakes gamble that looks set to pay out in nothing but embarrassment and a very large bill for legal costs. Thank you for watching.